What's up, everybody? It's Andrew coming back at you with another episode of the Jaguar podcast. In today's episode, I'll be doing a recap of the preseason game between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cleveland Browns. But before we start, as always, if you want to show your support for the channel, hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon if you want updates on latest content. Okay, so jumping into it, Jags lose this one to the Browns, 13-23. A stinker of a game, not much good to talk about. Trevor Lawrence, he made his debut in this game as the starting quarterback, was out there with the first team. He did okay. I was actually surprised how well he did. He did kind of hang in the pocket a little too long. He took 2 sacks, almost fumbled, but he recovered it. Threw a nice long pass to Marvin Jones Jr., which was really nice. The thing that I was a little concerned about is, this was the majority of the time the Browns' second team defense. Not a lot of starters out there. Second team and third team, really. So you kind of have to take that into perspective. It was a nice pass. Put a little too much air on it, in my opinion. If that was first team corner and he had his head turned and was looking at the ball, maybe that ball's picked off. But a nice play nonetheless. Gardner Minshew didn't have a very good game. He was out there, I think, for like 2 series. Completed some passes that were nice, kind of got flushed out of the pocket and threw a nice pass. I believe it was to Taven Austin. And Tebow was there, and some people said that he was aiming for Tebow, but I don't know. It was a nice play nonetheless. He did have one ball that he threw deep that almost got picked off. I think the intended receiver was Colin Johnson, so that wasn't good. And then he threw a Hail Mary pass at the end of the half that was picked off. I can't really fault him for that, guys. He's just trying to make a play. So that's that. Could have been a better performance, but Minshew was also sacked. The offensive line did not play well at all in this game. I'm going to get to that in just a second, but very, very poor play from the offensive line, which is concerning. C.J. Beathard had a good game. I think he threw a touchdown pass, and his stats were pretty good, no picks. And then Jake Luton, I think he had a touchdown pass as well. I mean, this is preseason, guys, again, so, I don't think this is any, earth-shattering performance by those 2 quarterbacks. There's a lot of people talking about C.J. Beathard stealing the the backup position from Gardner Minshew. I don't think that's going to happen. I may eat my words with that, but I just don't see it happening. I think Minshew's a better quarterback. I just think he had a bad night. And that's that. I mean, they're going to start it again. I know that the Trevor Lawrence fanboys are going to start this again where, one quarterback like Jake Luton or C.J. Beathard has one good game and they say, Minshew sucks and he's terrible and yada. It happened last year. It's just the typical kind of knucklehead mindset that, and hate against Minshew. I don't get it. I don't understand it. He's just trying to win games. But, whatever. That's that. That's a whole nother deal. That could be a whole nother podcast episode. But anyways, I digress. The defense looked okay. The coverage was bad. We gave up a lot of passes over the middle. We gave up screen passes. So the pass coverage wasn't as good. C.J. Henderson did have some nice plays. He almost had 1 interception, which was really nice. Surprising, given that he was going to be a player that was potentially on the trade block. I don't know if that's still on the table or not. Maybe it is. Maybe they're trying to boost his trade value. But he had a good game nonetheless. Andre Sisco, safety out of Syracuse that we just drafted, had a really good game. I was very impressed. He was all over the field, made some nice tackle, had some nice pass breakups there. Tyson Campbell, he looked okay. He did get beat with one play. I believe it was a touchdown pass. Went over his head. I mean, I think he was just, he was just kind of out of position. He kind of made the wrong move, turned his head, and the ball went over his head, and they scored a touchdown. No big deal there. I think Tyson Campbell has a lot of potential, and I think he's going to be a player to look after, or watch out after rather. Trey Herndon, I don't think he played well at all. It's the typical Trey Herndon we've seen, getting beat in coverage, missing tackles, yada yada yada. It's the same old from him. I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut, along with Josh Jones, who again was missing tackles. I think once Daniel Thomas gets back or off the COVID list, we may see more of him. I hope he makes the team. I think if they cut him, that's a mistake, but that's a whole nother podcast episode that I'll do on roster predictions. On the defensive line, I liked Jay Tufele. I think he had a really nice tackle for a loss. Got some great pressure inside and kind of blew up a play. So that was really nice to see. Adam Gotsis played really well. The Aussie, had him on the podcast. He had some nice tackle for a loss. He also, I think he had a half sack, which was really nice. So Adam Gotsis, check him out. I had him on the podcast. That was a fun episode to do, and I hope I'd like to see more of him. Just kind of being all over the field and making plays. In terms of the wide receiving core, Marvin Jones Jr. looked like he had a pretty good game. Laviska Shenault had some nice catches. So the wide receiving core did pretty well. Taven Austin was great. I think he had a touchdown catch. I don't think the game was just wasn't a good game for the Jags, especially when you consider the Browns weren't playing the majority of their starters. The offensive line looked terrible. Cam Robinson did not look good. Gave up a few sacks. Jawan Taylor didn't look good. The interior of the offensive line didn't look good. The left side, I think that was. I think they may have had Ben Barch in there. There was a play, I believe it was in the first half, which there was a 4th and 1, and the offensive line got blown up in the middle, and Robinson was stopped, and so it was a turnover on downs. That's not good. The offensive line continues to be the weak link for Jacksonville. I've said this before, and I'll continue to say it. They made no changes there, and I think it's going to be a mistake. Maybe we see Walker Little. I'm not sure. He actually played pretty well. But again, like I said, these were Cleveland Browns second teamers. I don't know how he performs, in front of the first team Cleveland Browns defense or defensive line. That's another story, but he's going to be a project. Hopefully he gets more reps. That's that. But I was not impressed with the offensive line. Tyler Shatley, I mean, my God, getting called for a false start for lifting up the ball. I mean, that's unacceptable. Can't have plays like that, and that's kills drives. So the offensive line, very, 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 very bad. And we'll see what happens there. I think it could be trouble for Trevor Lawrence, especially when you have a prospect like that. That's a first round, your number one draft pick, and you're trotting them out there in front of an offensive line that's just not good. And I'm not the only one that's saying this. Paul Spicer, he had come on the podcast. He said he just didn't think that the Jags had the talent at the offensive line. I don't know. I think there's still time to improve, but we'll see what happens. But, I think it's concerning. The play calling wasn't good. I thought it was very conservative. Kind of looked like last year's play calling. A lot of slant passes, like screen passes, over the middle passes. I just didn't feel like we were very aggressive with the play calling. Kind of looked like Jay Gruden's offense last season. So I wasn't impressed with that, and that's concerning, right? I mean, Urban's talking about having this fast offense. Well, you got to be aggressive too. I mean, you can't be throwing like little 5-yard out passes and expect to be putting points on the board. You got to be aggressive. You got to play smash mouth football. And, maybe it's just the first preseason game and they weren't comfortable, opening up the entire playbook for the first, game. But I wasn't impressed at all with it. So we'll see. But that's Darrell Bevell. We'll see how, they expand on the playbook and become hopefully more aggressive with their play calling. But was not impressed with that. Special teams, not good. Josh Lambo missed a 47-yard field goal. That was concerning. Josh really hasn't looked like he is the same player since he's come back from that injury. So he missed last night's field goal. That's pretty reachable for him. That's usually a kick that he can make. Good snap, but just kicked the ball and it went wide left. So hoping that he can kind of shake off or get out of that bad place right now and start playing better. But that's pretty much my take on the game. I'm not putting a lot of value in the game. Like, I don't think that's going to dictate how the season goes. But those are kind of just my thoughts. Lots of improvements needed. Offensive line has to get better. Play calling's got to get better. There's a lot of things we have to fix. So I think Urban's going to have a lot on his plate next week for practice and getting the team ready to go for their next preseason game. But, let me know how you feel about this game. Leave me a comment on the YouTube video or podcast episode. Special thanks to everybody who came out for the play-by-play live stream last night. It was fun. I'm hoping to do more in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, go Jags, and I'll see you next time.
Duval! What's up, everybody? It's Andrew from the Jaguar Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, there's more content over here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as always. And remember, this is a podcast, so you can find this pretty much wherever you find podcasts. There I'll be doing interviews of current and former Jaguars players, including Joe Schobert, DeJuan Smoot, Shaq Quarterman, etc. And I also do interviews of former Jaguars players, including Natron Means, Jimmy Smith, Tom McManus, etc. So be sure to check out the podcast, subscribe to it, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, go Jags, and I'll see you next time.